Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're breaking down a really specific, kind of fascinating release straight from the Finutics channel. We are looking at their dedicated intraday watch list, curated specifically for June 3rd, 2026. Now, if you're already following market data, you know a watch list is basically a snapshot in time, right? It captures a specific set of entities grouped together for one very distinct purpose. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack for you today using the exact data Finutics provided. We'll look at what this list actually is, the strict boundaries around how you're supposed to use it, and of course, the actual names that make up this June 3rd release. So before we get to the actual names, let's just quickly define what an intraday watch list really means in the context of this Finutics release. Based strictly on how they frame it, this isn't about long-term trends. We're not looking at multi-year horizons here. Intraday quite literally means, well, within the day. This list is built specifically to observe these companies for single-day tracking. It's all about that fast-paced, micro-level market observation. We're talking about tracking how these specific selections behave from the opening bell to the close on that exact day, June 3rd, 2026. Now, this brings us to a massively important distinction. You see, the Finutics source material draws a super strict boundary around this list. They heavily separate educational study from financial advice. This data is explicitly, and I mean explicitly, framed as an educational tool. So what does that actually mean for you? Well, it means this list is put together for the strict purpose of studying market movements. It's for practicing your observation skills and learning how specific stocks behave on a given day. It is fundamentally not a directive to go out and act. By isolating this data purely as an educational study, it kind of frees us up to neutrally observe the mechanics of the market, completely without the pressure of making financial decisions. Just keep that framework in mind as we jump into the actual data. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the actual makeup of the watch list itself. Here we have it, straight from the Finutics June 3rd release. 14 specific stocks selected for intraday observation. If you look at the first group, we've got JBM Auto Limited, SKM Egg Products Export, Jaro Institute of Technology Management and Research, Vardhman Textiles, Dharmaj Guard, IO Chemicals and Pharmaceuticals, and Thangamayil Jewellery. Then, moving over to the second group, we see Olectra Greentech, TITAGARH Rail Systems, Zydus Wellness, CARYSIL Limited, MPS Limited, Narayana Hrudayalaya and SEDEMAC Mechatronics. Instead of just seeing a giant wall of text, notice the contextual clues right there in the titles. The names themselves actually tell a story about the breadth of this list. And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates the sheer variety present in this single daily snapshot. Just by glancing at the titles, we are spanning wildly different sectors here. We've got the auto sector represented with JBM Auto, Greentech with Olectra, and some heavy infrastructure indicated by TITAGARH Rail Systems. We see pharma and chemicals covered by IOL, and even textiles with Vardhman. Plus, there's agriculture, education, and technology sprinkled in there too. So structurally, what does this tell us? It shows that this specific intraday study isn't confined to just one single industry catalyst. The Finutics release casts a really wide net across the whole economic landscape for this particular day's observation. So the crucial point is perfectly captured in this exact quote, taken directly from the source material. This is only for education purpose and does not advise to buy or sell any stock. This explicit disclaimer is the sobering reality. It's literally the foundation of the entire Finutics release. It neutrally reiterates exactly what we established a minute ago. No matter how diverse this list gets or what specific sectors pop up, the ultimate utility of this data, according to the source itself, is purely to learn. It's simply an observation tool, designed to help you study how these 14 distinct entities behave within the isolated window of a single trading day. Which brings us to the ultimate takeaway from today's explainer. How will you use this watch list to study the market today? Are you going to look at how different sectors, like, say, Greentech versus pharma, react to the exact same daily news cycle? Or maybe you'll track the high-to-low spread of these specific 14 names. The data has been laid out for you by Finutics strictly as an educational canvas for June 3rd, 2026. How you apply this for your own personal learning and observation, well, that's completely up to you. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep observing, keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.